Welcome to This Is Whole Life, a podcast from the Whole Life Church in Orlando, Florida.
Join me, Ken Wetmore, lead pastor, and Melanie Bachman, our worship pastor, along with our communication team, Randy and Lucas. Take a look back, a look deeper, and a peek into the week ahead.
Here we explore meaningful conversations about spirituality, community, and living with purpose.
We don't have all the answers, but we are walking the journey together.
Wherever you're listening from, you're wanted here.
This is Whole Life.
Hey everyone, it's episode 520 of This Is Whole Life, and it is a Tuesday, so it feels normal again since last week it was a Saturday record date.
That's right.
And
although it does feel a little weird because we're not recording at our normal time.
Not time.
You were very generous and allowed me to move it to earlier in the day.
Well, today, I don't know. Lately, Tuesday's been, I don't know. We've been on a faster track, and so midday works out for us. And being that we are missing someone today, and we're missing the Mrs. Melanie Bachman,
indeed,
or the doc,
yeah,
or Dr. Bachman. You can however you want to go there. She's on Mimi duty. I love saying Mimi duty.
Yeah, she's pretty excited about that. So, Melanie, if you are listening to this after, she'll actually be back in
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So
I think she's actually back this afternoon, maybe or this evening. I don't know.
It won't be early enough for
maybe
the flight.
Maybe this tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it'll be out in time for her flight. I don't know when she gets in. Anyway, she sent us. Was that this morning, Lucas, that she sent us that picture?
She sent yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
She sent Lucas and I a picture because we have a group text because we do work a ton together every week, and so we have a group text going in. Goodness gracious, that is one beautiful little baby, and so I can see why she wants to be gone. All right, you know what though? We're missing Melanie, but the other thing we're missing this week, and I'm just really, our streak is over, and I was a little sad.
Uh-oh.
We didn't get a text.
No text, no email, no
voice,
phone call.
no Slack, no nothing.
Must have been a holiday weekend.
It must have been.
Everybody's just getting ready to go.
You guys were just hanging out and grilling and remembering and doing all those good things, not forgetting. And that's really what the goal was, because that's what Ken asked you to do. So I'm not going to be sad for too long, but today just, although those of you who did tune in and you were in the chat on Saturday, you left us quite a few questions. So we'll get to those in just a little bit. So you guys, you didn't totally forget. You just,
had stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the top of my sheet, and it's like email, nothing, Slack, nothing, voicemail, nothing, text, nothing. Anyway.
I guess we just didn't have a controversial enough sermon.
I maybe, but I also think that if you finished reading the story of Gideon, you almost, like the controversy in that story, you almost can't look away.
Yeah.
You keep, because you're like, hey guys, just, there's more to the story. Go and read it for yourself. And it had been a long time because I was like, I wonder what he's talking about, because I don't remember there being a ton of extra stuff after this.
A+ for you, Randy.
So I did go this morning and I went and checked it out. And I went to 2 different places. I'm like, all right, let's just see what the web has to say. Because I want to just see what comes up. And there were some interesting takes in a couple places about the remainder of it. But when you boil it all down, it was like, wow. And we've talked a lot this year, I feel like, where things have all kind of come back to gratitude and then realizing, where do all the good things come from? I know last week we had Pedro Perez, and he said, look, I do this thing where if something bad happens, it's like, ooh, quickly name 3 things that I have to be grateful for. Yeah. Hey, I have a car. Hey, I have 2 legs to get up and walk across the room and go get myself a drink of clean water. I have whatever that case might be that you can think of. And so when you mentioned this, going back to read the rest of the story, because you're like, hey, why is it important to remember? If you ask me the story of Gideon, I can tell you the first part.
Yeah.
That was easy. We all know that part.
Right.
I did have to go look up how many people or how many men in the army he started with, because I did forget that part. I was a little confused. but then for some reason, the people, mainly even after their whole thing of defeating the Midianites, which the army was like the grains of sands on the seashore. That part I didn't remember either. So I read in a couple of places they were thinking maybe between 100 and 300,000. Does that sound about right from what you?
Yeah, that seems reasonable. So
then I couldn't stop thinking of how the parallels were in like the Battle of Thermopylae. If you are Greek lore, God's like, oh, sands of the seashore, huh? Well, how about, and you've got 32,000? Nah, that's way too many.
Way too many.
Way too many. So, he brings them down to the water's edge and, do you lap like a dog? Do you scoop the water? And, these are the tests. And they go through 2 rounds to get them down to 300.
300.
And then I'm like, and I'm not promoting.
Less than 1%.
I'm not promoting the movie in any way, shape, or form because it's extremely violent. But if you've never seen the movie 300, this will give you a maybe a little bit of a visual idea about what that looks like. And but then even after that, God's like, the whole point is God doesn't want anyone, the Israelites, the Gideon, even the Midianites, like to give them anything like, hey, you guys got your tails handed to you by Gideon. Mm-hmm. He wants them to know that it's God.
Yep.
And when you initially started your message, I thought of this, and I had to go look it up. But there's a saying that's attributed to Orson Welles, and I don't know if it's actually him because it's the internet. But if you want a happy ending, that depends, of course, on where you stop your story.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Right? And I had heard that long time ago, and it really was it really seemed to fit with when Ken asked us to go and check the rest of it out, because then the people of Ephraim and Gideon asked Gideon, why have you treated us this way? Why didn't you send for us when you first went out to fight the Midianites? And they argued heatedly with Gideon, and like nothing's been done to them. It wasn't about them in the first place, and it wasn't about beating the enemy, but obviously they were upset because it was about who was getting to do the beating and who was taking the credit.
Yeah.
Right? And then I thought, oh, yeah, I hadn't really remembered that part. But then a few chapters later, the same people are angry at another judge who led Israel to victory over the Ammonites, and they're so angry they tell the judge that they're going to, quote, burn down your house over your head. And then they actually try to go through with it, battling the judge and eventually losing to that judge and his men. And they lost 42,000 men in the process.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So like this whole story just continues to go, which I'm sure I've read it before. But then after that, and so I'm thinking to myself, well, why is Ken saying you got to remember this, even just the first part, but go and like think about what's happening in these next chapters about this weird. Like when David kills Goliath and Saul's killed his thousands and David his 10,000s. And, usually the Israelites are pretty quick to celebrate and get behind someone. And eventually they do. They want Gideon to guide them. But then they end up killing all but one of his sons.
Right. Yep.
And
I think 2 of his sons, but.
Was it 2?
I think there are 2 that survived.
Okay.
I think that the youngest escaped, and then the one that was doing the killing.
The killing.
Yeah. He eventually actually dies too. So yeah, in the end,
maybe it's just
maybe 1. So yeah.
Well, and the Israelites, of course, turn back to Baal, and it seems like as always somehow, and much the same with us. Maybe. Oh wait, that's probably why Ken said that. Okay. Lessons that seem to be clear about who did the choosing, the winning, the listening, and the obeying. And, just as life lessons, clearly misunderstood at best or ignored at the behest of their pride at worst. And it's an interesting read, and one that I think it definitely bears going and thinking about it and seeing what's happening, because it's pretty clear to everyone but those that aren't getting the point. And that's where the forgetting has consequences, because if you think about like how quickly they were unhappy from the beginning, they're happy for a little bit because then all of a sudden they want Gideon to lead them, but then it all turns poorly.
Yeah.
How long do you think, Ken? And I don't know if this is an answerable question, but from the time that they were like, okay, yeah, Gideon, I guess he's not so bad. Let's ask him. Let's get behind him and have him lead us, to like going back to Baal. Do we know how long that was?
The verse that I used said almost immediately after he dies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
And it's a complicated story because Gideon is a complicated character in the Bible. Like we make him a hero, and rightfully so, but he also does some things that he really should not have done. He creates a priestly ephod that his family wears. I think this is the part where it talks about how they start worshiping the snake that Moses, the bronze snake that Moses had in the wilderness. So there's a certain amount of idolatry that Gideon kind of already allows.
What was the purpose? I mean, I got that the ephod was something with the priest, like what was it?
It was kind of a the high priest ephod had the Urim and Thummim on it that would light up depending on God's yes or no on it. And then on that ephod also were the stones representing the 12 tribes of Israel. And so what Gideon apparently did was just created himself maybe a replica. So he was basically saying, hey, you don't need to go see the real high priest. I can be your priest, which was not sanctioned and not really okay. But again, for some reason, God doesn't particularly call him out on it. And kind of lets him have a hero's going away because he dies of old age. And then the Bible says, and then the people turn back to Baal. So it's an interesting story. It's a lot more complex than what we generally read to our kids when they're growing up. And there's a lot of lessons in there. I probably could do a sermon series on that at some point. But the point really is that you have a whole bunch of people who forget the sacrifices that Gideon made to the point where they actually help one of his children murder his other children.
Yeah. As I was reading through it, I was like, man, it's probably been a while since I've been through this part of the Bible in one of my reading plans. And I didn't totally understand what was happening with the ephod and maybe in that piece, but that makes sense. But there's a lot happening that you kind of have to just sit and think about it. And even as if you go through it, I mean, I didn't spend it like an hour, probably maybe half an hour. But even at that, you can see all the different things where you're just like, wow, this is crazy. And I don't remember reading this. And then like, how does not forgetting really play into this? And then as you started to put that together, and also I thought the tribute that you did for the young, was it
Joseph Allen Ashley?
Ashley, naval.
Machinist mate, second class.
Machinist's mate. I don't know what a machinist mate does. Do you?
Not 100%.
Yeah.
No. I think there's a lot of different things that they can do, but on that summary, I'm not really sure what that exactly meant.
And so you were covering that as a return home, right? Or did you also cover the memorial?
Yeah. Wow. So the USS San Francisco at that time was stationed out of Guam. It's a fast attack sub, and it had deployed maybe a day or two before January 7, 2000. Was it 4 or 5? I can't remember. I think it was. Yeah, I can't remember what I said it was. Anyway, the point is they deployed, and really honestly, I don't even think I knew that they deployed because it just wasn't something that we didn't keep up with all the different things that the submarines on the base were doing. And I don't know that the U.S. government was like saying, "Hey, our sub is left." So
I thought you had the red phone from the.
Oh yeah, but I am not allowed to talk about that.
Okay.
So yeah, I was literally at my birthday party when I got a phone call saying, "Hey, there's been a accident. The USS San Francisco hit an undersea mountain. They've managed to make it back to the surface. One person was killed. Almost everybody on board is injured. Make sure you show up tomorrow morning at, I don't know, whatever time it was, or the next day it was such a big deal that the Navy spokesperson for the Pacific Fleet actually flew from Hawaii to Guam to talk to those of us in the press there about it. And it was really I think that it took them about 3 days to get the submarine stabilized and enough to be able to bring it back into port. Because those fast attack subs there's a lot of classified stuff going on there. They had to do, I think, some shrouding of where the damage had been done because it was the front. It was like the front of the sub. But I remember seeing it. I don't think I was allowed to actually take pictures or video of it, but the front of that sub looked like a Coke can when you stand. When you kind of smash it, it just looked like just the front nose was caved in, and it's incredible that they were able to resurface it all, and that only one person lost their life in that. Sadly, the captain of I say sadly, for me I thought it was sad that the captain of the San Francisco actually kind of got in trouble. I guess that's what happens though when you crash $1 billion
I was going to say
a fast attack sub. But by all accounts, his men thought he was a hero for his actions on board. The things I was told off the record that if it weren't for him, they wouldn't have made it back up to the top. But that he figured out how to get them to. He basically saved their lives, and the same thing for the person who was at the helm.
Wow.
But what they were doing is they were going through what they called it a gray water, dark water area that hadn't been fully charted. And I think they thought that it had been. I think the investigation came out that they were using an incorrect set of charts or something.
Whoa.
And so there was nothing on the charts that indicated there was a mountain, but.
And you wouldn't use sonar if you were.
No, and that was it. That was one of the other things and I'm no expert on this, but it basically when they were cruising at attack speed. So they were going pretty much as fast as the thing could go from my understanding, which apparently attack speed is a classified number because they wouldn't tell me what that number was, but they were going at attack speed. When they hit the mountain, they were clipping along. They were trying to get somewhere fast.
Yeah.
So it was, just incredibly tragic. And the Navy did allow local reporters on Guam to come to the base for the memorial service for Joseph Allen Ashley. And it was, we were cordoned off in the back. We weren't allowed to talk to any of the sailors. But we were allowed to be present for that service, and it was very touching and moving.
Yeah, there's something about when Memorial Day, of course, we're celebrating those who have lost their lives in the
ultimate sacrifice for their country,
in the line of duty and of service. But being with our brother-in-law who's just retired, he put in his 20 with the Marines, and being at different bases that they were at in Hawaii and Beaufort here in the U.S. and different places, and taking part in things like the at Christmas time, putting wreaths out on graves and cleaning gravestones and things that their family were involved in, that our family got involved in. And it's different when you know somebody and then you take part in those things. So I can only imagine what that was like. And then for me, I'm claustrophobic. And one of the ways that I don't want to die, if I could choose, whatever, is drowning. Seems to me like one of the worst possible ways you could possibly die. And then being in the can and just underwater, that just seems horrific.
Yeah. And to be clear, there was basically Joseph died from an injury to his head, because when just like any accident, when you come to a complete stop after going at a certain speed, it's going to send you flying. And because they weren't expecting impact, nobody was buckled in. There was nobody was braced for it. And so,
wow.
My understanding is that he hit a bulkhead, and that's what
sustained it.
Yeah.
Ouch. Well, I think the the part where the rubber meets the road in Ken's message. And if you haven't had a chance, please do. The service started with a Memorial Day video if you want to watch it online, or the podcast. I didn't include that part because without the visual, it seemed a little bit odd. But Ken's message started with that story. And, forgetting has its consequences. And Ken was like, you know what? I don't want anyone to just believe what Ken is saying. So he looked it up, did a little scientific research. And, scientifically speaking, when you forget, and I think we talked about some of these a couple of weeks ago, but cognitive dissonance, when you forget, the sacrifice basically just becomes undervalued or just totally devalued. You forget, and then you make your mind kind of goes, yeah, but sure, that was if you don't remember all the details and what was done, it's like, yeah, sure, but X, Y, or Z, and it just, and it really creates cynicism and distrust. And when you think about that as how you live every day, that's a bad place to be in. And creating envy and resentment, materialism, not having gratitude just makes you focus on what, maybe others have been given. And instead you fix on what you don't have. Or like, I love it. Ken said, nobody cares about me and people don't help me. And you forget how many times people have done, I don't know about you all, but have done really just very amazing, very philanthropic, and very just heartfelt help. And then your health, you don't think about that. And that was when I appreciated, because, low gratitude leads to a life that's filled with stress. And I mean, today, don't we all have enough stress beyond just not being grateful for the things that we have? That seems like that seems like low-hanging fruit to just go, hey, Ken is a great boss, and I appreciate that, because my life is better when you work for someone that you appreciate, and someone who appreciates you, someone you like, they like you, things of that nature. And that just seems like low-hanging fruit, but how many times do we not pick that? And then this one stuck with me, because one of my favorite aunts, when we don't remember, we really hurt the people that have blessed us. And she once scolded me, tried to do something really nice. And I don't think we had kids yet. I think it was when we first moved to Florida, Heather and I. And I don't know, I was not in the right frame of mind to just accept the gift. I was like, no, you can't do that. You don't need to do that. And that whatever. We take care of ourselves around here, kind of arrogance. And she looked me in the eye, and basically I remember poking my chest, and her fingernail really hurt. But she's just like, she looked at me, and her eyes just turned from this like, hey, nice moment where she's trying to do something nice for me. And her eyes, like there's fire coming out of her eyes, and she's poking me, and she said, why don't you just shut up, smile, and say thank you, Auntie? And then what I'll never forget, don't steal my joy in giving something to you. She's like, that is not acceptable. And like, she was really, really scolding me. And so ever since then, I not saying I don't ever have the feelings of like, I don't need just say, smile and say, thank you. That was so thoughtful. I appreciate your kindness. Or if you can't get that much out, just smile and say, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't steal the joy. And that, because the other part is, I think for people that get rebuffed in their gift giving, I mean, why would you want to continue or especially to you? If you're not going to be a joyful recipient, why would I ever approach you with another gift that I might have to give you when clearly you don't want it, you don't appreciate it, and you're not thankful for it? Well,
yeah.
Why, I'll just move on down the line and see if someone else might need something that I have to give them. And so, yeah, don't steal the joy. And then I thought that Ken ended the message with, I didn't write down the verse. Oh boy. For God is not unjust. He will not forget how hard you have worked for him and how you have shown your love to him by caring for other believers as you still do. And that's a nice verse.
It's a super good one. I love that.
Yeah.
One I come back to sometimes when I feel discouraged. When people don't appreciate me the way I'd like to be appreciated, I go back to that one. Yep.
Because God's not unjust. Someone else might be, but it's not God.
There's other people, but not God.
Where was that? Where's that verse from, Ken?
Hebrews.
That's what it was. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, if you haven't over the course of your weekend, I know probably a lot were traveling. I know I left in between services to go hang out with some very, very close friends who just got themselves a spot in the country with 3 acres, and they wanted to have us out and enjoy a little barbecue and grill and Silver Springs, a little canoeing out on the springs.
Oh, nice.
For the
Beautiful.
weekend. So we had a great weekend. Thank you, Tammy and Jean. So if you didn't get a chance yet to watch it, it was just a really good reminder of Memorial Day and just why remembering matters, and for those that have given sometimes everything for you. So, Lucas, I know we had questions because Tammy was one of our worship hosts this week, and she was forwarding to me. So let's hit the questions.
Let's do it. So first question is, if ingratitude, victimhood, or imagined martyrdom are learned behaviors, how would you recommend someone might overcome these tendencies?
I think just practicing gratitude. I think that's the answers, and making it a habit. Find a time of the day where maybe once a day you say, I want to send a text message to somebody and show some gratitude at 5 o'clock every day, or right after I get done with supper, or right before I go to bed, or when I first wake up in the morning. Just put it in a place where it's easily rememberable. Maybe couple it with something else that you always do right after I brush my teeth.
Yeah.
And start making a habit of thinking about the people you're grateful for, the people that did something for you that day or that come to your mind. And I think the more we do that, the more it'll push those other things out.
Yeah. I got to do mine in the morning. If I'm in the shower, I got to do it. Otherwise, if I don't, I get busy and then I forget.
Oh, you just keep your phone in the shower with you and just like...
Not always, but I will admit to, it's not in a protective enough case that I feel confident that the whatever IP7, I6, whatever certification that the iPhone has, that I want to let water stream over it. But I try to remember.
All right.
I try to remember.
All right. Question number 2. Would you consider the ability to receive gratitude to also be important? How might someone's resistance toward accepting thanks harm our relationship?
I think it harms it big time. I think, Randy, you kind of talked about that a little bit when, I don't think any of us want somebody to fawn over us when we do something nice for them. But it also is just nice if there's, and then the other part, well, that's where I wanted to go with that. The real thing is, like, if you've done something nice, it's important to be able to say, oh yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And as opposed to being like, acting, And so, I think that the ability to receive gratitude, the ability to give gratitude, both are incredibly important. And sometimes it's just okay to say, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you.
And
You're
sometimes
welcome.
I'll just say that if you're the person on the giving end, sometimes just like, sometimes it's hard to give and then like take any credit. I also feel like that's maybe they were just giving it to me because they want to feel superior to me or something. And I feel like just sometimes, like, if you don't know and you're not used to doing it, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. And that way it's like the most simple thing. And then it just stays simple. I feel like sometimes we can complicate that part.
Or like,
too.
what is it? There's some restaurant, some fast food chain that says, it was my pleasure. My pleasure. Right?
Yeah,
something like that.
It was my pleasure. That's
my pleasure.
a good one.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure. Oh, we'll have to add that one to the repertoire. I like that. It was my pleasure. That means I got to do something nice today.
All right, question number 3.
Randy, you moved our podcast taking. So Randy,
true.
Thank you. Thank you for changing it.
It was my pleasure, Ken.
That's awesome.
There you go. Done for the day.
That's it.
Check that box.
That's right.
Oh, boy. All right, question number 3.
We're missing Melanie.
Yeah, we are.
Hebrews 6:10. He will not forget how hard you have worked for him and how you have shown your love to him. Should gratitude from God be our motivation? How do we accept it without believing it's all about us?
I don't know if gratitude from God is our motivation, but maybe it is to a certain extent too. I think that feeling appreciated, it's awful hard to keep doing things over and over and over and over again when there's no appreciation. In fact, sometimes you get almost the opposite of that. And so, I don't know, in my own life, for me, I've just decided that God won't forget, and that's all that really matters. So for me, that's where I'm at. And I don't know, maybe that doesn't make me as altruistic as I need to be.
I don't know. I think it's a motivator for me, because I feel like when maybe that hasn't been your strong point in the past, and you make some inroads in that, and sometimes I've felt like, and maybe this is just part of me that's different, but I feel like sometimes when you do something that, especially when God puts it on your heart and you follow through with it, like there's a little virtual somehow pat on the back, or a hug, or just an affirmation, if you will, that thank you for doing what I asked. And so to me, that's a motivator, because I like that feeling. I like that, at least in my head. Maybe I've got my wires crossed a little bit here or there, but it felt like I was supposed to. I did. And it felt like there was that really good feeling can only come from God. Yeah. And so to me, that has to be a motivator, I guess. Yeah. So.
I like it.
Cool. That's it?
That's it.
Wow. We zipped through those pretty quickly. Yeah. So one thing I did want to ask is, what was the best thing you had to eat over Memorial Day?
The best thing I had to eat over Memorial Day. Okay, so we went to a new coffee spot.
Oh.
And Rochelle and Kyla both thought, while we were there, they're like, you and Randy and Melanie and Lucas should do a tour of coffee shops. And I said, well, that maybe is a different podcast. But we went to a place called Craft and Common.
High five. Kaboom. Kaboom.
Oh, you've been there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. I got a chai colada,
Ooh,
I think there.
Okay.
And it's I'm a big fan of chai tea in the first place.
Yeah.
And I guess that's redundant when you say chai tea, because chai means tea, right? So anyway,
I didn't know that.
I think so. Yeah, I got that, and it's chai with kind of a like pina colada kick to it.
Huh.
Like kind of coconut and
Okay.
it was a sweeter one. So that was, I'm not a big, I'm not a big coffee person.
Yeah.
So I loved it. And then they have an incredible vegan sandwich that is just crazy good.
Yeah, if you read the reviews,
it's on a pretzel bun. It is so
Yep.
good. It was really, really good.
Yeah, everything. I mean, we've been there multiple times. We tend to work remotely, at least in the morning on Thursdays, to try to get a little creative time in between everyone asking for things. And we'll hit multiple coffee shops.
Okay, so I have one more that I wanted to ask, but we didn't go to, but it's on my list.
Which
is
one?
there a place called Drunken Monkey?
There is. I have never been there, but I have heard very good things about it from people I trust.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. That's the next one on the
right.
Wetmore family list. And
should we go this Thursday and give them a report?
Well,
oh yeah, do it. Let me know. What interesting. It looked like there was some a number of different vegetarian options there.
Cool.
For food. So.
Oh wait, we can't go on Thursday. We already have an appointment
coffee
at a coffee shop. They're trying to convince us to ditch the Folgers for sweeter horizons.
Well, can they give it to us at a Folgers price?
Well, that's it was funny because I responded to the email, and I'll let it out. It's Barney's in Winter Park.
Okay.
And we've worked from there before, because they've got a nice setup where we can out in the alley, and you can just it's shaded, and so we've gone there to do some of our creative meetings. And I guess that's how she got my name. I don't know. She's like, hey, I'm the coffee director of business operations for Barney's.
The coffee evangelist.
Yeah. And so I just responded. She's like, well, I can see that you love coffee. And so, we've got cold brew by the gallon. We've got, if you buy in bulk, we've got different prices. So she sent me their wholesale price list, and they're willing to. She's like, well, I don't know if we can beat your prices. I'm like, well, on Folgers, you as a craft roaster, you can't beat our Folgers by the pound at Costco. Come on. But anyway, we're going to go and meet and greet, and who knows what might,
Well, it can't hurt to go,
Well,
So you recommend going there too?
That's a pretty good one.
And tell him what didn't I get that you said I should have gotten when we went?
Oh, it's the apple muffin.
Oh, their muffins are
Yeah.
and I love caramel.
Yeah, me too.
And so there was like a caramel crunch, and I've been going to the gym, so I've been really trying to not do those as much, because this thing is like this muffin's as big as your head.
It's full of carbs,
and you need like 3 other people to eat it with you. Is really what you should do. Is
There's
get a knife
apple in there, so
well
that makes it okay.
An apple. Yeah, so
an apple a day
exactly
cancels out all the rest of it.
Cancels out the rest of it. So you made a Craft and Common is tough to beat. It's one of the downtown coffee places that I love, but I hate parking.
Parking was pretty great because we went on Memorial Day, and
so there wasn't a lot of people.
The place was packed.
The place was
packed, but we found a parking space right on the road. Right on the side there, not in the middle of the road. I wouldn't do that. So.
Yeah, I try to take the Harley if I can. If I'm going down there on a
that's probably a good idea.
You can kind of squeeze.
The other nice thing was that because it was Memorial Day, the parking was free.
What?
Oh,
yeah, the meters weren't.
Wow. Because that normally it's either on Orange or on that.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that on Robinson? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And then there's the parking lot across, but it's all the scan and pay. And
there's one in the back that is free.
There's a parking space in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know for next time.
That's where the day it was raining.
Exactly.
I circled in the back for about 15 minutes before someone left, so it's not easy to get a free one, but they're there.
It can happen.
Right. It can happen.
Okay.
If you believe and have faith like Goliath. Did I say Goliath? Gideon. Wow, that was
yeah, that's
we jumped stories there quick. So this week it is Don't Forget series again.
Yes, it is. Last one.
So that last week was penultimate.
I missed my opportunity.
You did.
I was too focused on Memorial Day.
Yeah, well, that's okay, and that's all right. So this is what are we wrapping up?
We are doing Remember. Don't forget the God who created you.
Oh, okay.
And so we're gonna really focus in on the 4th commandment. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Nice.
And there's going to be a suggestion in there that remembering the Sabbath day isn't really what God's after us to remember. The Sabbath is the vehicle, but it isn't. So when it says remember the Sabbath day, the point is, what is God? Why? Is it like God wants us to worship the Sabbath, or is it that the Sabbath is a vehicle for us to remember God?
So that don't forget
the person who created us. So we'll kind of unpack that a little bit, and I guess I could give those of you listening a little bit of a question that I haven't finished my sermon, but I've worked on it a fair amount.
Okay.
And the question I'm wrestling with, and I think I might actually open my sermon with, is Jesus has a lot to say about the Sabbath, right? He talks about it, and Jesus. Where's the question is? Oh boy, I guess you'll have to come on Sabbath. Yeah, I think I had it on the tip of my tongue, and now it's just left.
That's all right.
Jesus, you may have to do a little editing here, Randy.
So what's after? So let's walk away from that one for just a second. Then we have a standalone and then another series, or do we go directly into that? Because
we're gonna go directly into our summer series right out of this. So we originally were going to have one of our Voices of Whole Life, there were some things that on my end of things, there were some things happening that I was like, oh, maybe this wouldn't be the best Sabbath for that speaker. And then then when we decided it was the best Sabbath, he'd already made other plans, understandably.
Yeah.
And so I think I will be preaching. I think I'll be starting off my series of favorite things.
Favorite things. That's right. Oh, so we did get a couple of the first questions. We've been able to interview them, so you'll be seeing them prior to the message, just so that they're asking.
Let me know the ones. Let me know the ones you already have on video, because that will determine somewhat of the order.
So we got.
I was trying to decide whether I should start off with my favorite Bible verse or not. What do you think? I'd love input from the Slack community.
Yeah.
And, help me know, do I start the series off with just doing yours, or should I do mine? I don't mind not doing mine, but I was just, should I do it or should I not? I don't know. You guys, majority rules.
There you go. And Aaron, look for a text from me or a direct message in Slack, because we need to film yours, and we'll do that over Zoom or something like that, so we can get yours. And when I walked in this past week, I was greeted by Scott Causey, and I know Scott's listening, he has a question. But I need to call him this week, and together we're going to flush it out.
He has a question, or he has a favorite text?
A favorite text, but
this is not a great question, Randy.
No. It's not. No, but it's
I want your favorite Bible verse or Bible story.
Why.
Yeah.
So we're flushing out the why in a different way, and so
I gotcha.
It'll make sense once we get together. So. Scott, hopefully by the time you listen to this, I'll call you after this. So probably Thursday, I'll give you a call, and we'll get that one, and then we can catch him as well. So that's another one we've added to the list. So we have everyone from your list initially, plus Scott. And so, guys, here's your chance. Your favorite Bible verse, or you said verse, right?
Right.
Yeah, not like chapter or book or just
Bible verse. Well, you can do. If it's a whole chapter.
And mine's a chapter. It always is.
Well, then do it. Just do it. Chapter is fine, as long as I think I can.
Well,
as long as it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
I will save mine in case no one, if we're missing one at the end, and maybe I'll do that. But otherwise, I'll just we'd rather hear from you guys in what your favorite verse is. All right. Well, Melanie, when you hear this, just know that we missed you dearly here today and over this past weekend. But we're also glad that we got to enjoy a little bit of Mimi time through your text messages. And so we'll look forward to having you back this week. And then we're wrapping up. Don't forget. And one thing, just as a pastor, one of the things happening coming up soon, we're like a month out from VBS. And we have already a ton of kids or campers, as we're calling them. We already have them registered, but there is still time for you to get in.
Oh, so there is still some space left in VBS?
Yep, there's some space in VBS. Now, when you go to the VBS page, one thing that Jen French is, who our VBS director for this year is.
Thank you, Jen.
We revamped. It was the rules haven't changed. We just tried to make them a little bit more clear. So there's 3 bullet points when you get to that page, and your child has to be
4 years old,
fully potty trained.
Trained.
So that one's clear. The next one is either 4 years old or they completed the 4th grade in the 2025-2026 school year.
You mean the pre-K? Not 4th grade, because a 4-year-old is.
No, from 4th grade up until they. So that's the age range.
I follow you. I got you.
And so we said it before, but it was and not as clear as it could have been. So we bullet pointed those 3 things. And so they're all right there on the page. And as long as your camper meets those requirements, please do fill out the form. And then if you have any questions, there's an email, VBS at the bottom, that goes directly to Jen, and she can answer any questions you have from there. VBS Plus is the one that
It's completely full.
Completely full, and there's a waiting list. So if someone happens to, I didn't know this was going to happen, I can't make it, and you would be somewhere in that list next in line. So you can do that. But just wanted to make sure you guys, if you know someone, friend, family, neighbor that has.
It's our first year doing VBS Plus. I'm really excited about it. Thank you, Carla Miguel, for making that happen for us.
And so you can find both of those at wholelife.church/events. So, and GLS, early bird, get it while it's hot before June.
Yeah. You have like 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And wholelife.church/GLS, all the pricing is there, and there's 3 different stages. We're still in the first stage that starts at the close of at the close of this year. It stays cheap all the way up until June of next year.
And they have discounts for students. They have discounts for first responders. They have if you're an Advent Health employee, there's a discount for you.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And there's even if everything else in the world fails, we might be able to get our hands on a comp ticket or two.
Maybe.
So just, if for some reason you are finding difficulty, and maybe talk to Ken.
Yeah.
This is Ken's
Or
event.
we might be able to find somebody to sponsor you. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So, but yeah, all that's ready to go. So that brings us into, man, summer's here. All you gotta do is walk outside.
Summer is here.
Yowzers. Anyway, well, guys, thanks so much for listening and for all the sharing. The numbers have just been through the roof, both on Speaking of Grace and here at This Is Whole Life. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate you so much. Have a great week. Thanks for listening to This Is Whole Life. If today's conversation resonated with you, we invite you to subscribe, share, and leave a review on your favorite listening platform. To join the conversation, send a text or voicemail to 407-965-1607 or email podcast@wholelife.church. To learn more about Whole Life Church, worship with us online or in person, visit our website, wholelife.church. Until next time, this is Whole Life.